Hi, this video will explain about the absorption spectrum of photosynthetic pigments. Photosynthesis occurs in the chloroplast because chloroplasts contain photosynthetic pigments. Photosynthetic pigments play an important role to absorb the light energy during photosynthesis. Without this energy, the photosynthesis cannot occur because we need the light energy to convert it into chemical energy. So the pigments molecule are embedded in the thylakoid membrane here. So the thylakoid this is one thylakoid. Okay, there is a lumen in the thylakoid. So this is the thylakoid membrane. The concept of the membrane is similar to what we have learned in plasma membrane. It composed of phospholipid bilayer, and there are proteins embedded in the phospholipid bilayer. So there will be pigment embedded in between the phospholipid bilayer. Chloroplast lies mainly inside the leaf, which is in the mesophyll cells, including palisade mesophyll and spongy mesophyll. Palisade mesophyll is the parts where the cells are packed, while the spongy mesophyll is where there are lots of intercellular spaces. Okay. So these are the cells, plant cells. The green dots here are the chloroplasts in the cell. So let's look at the structure of chloroplasts. Chloroplast has double membrane, so they are enclosed by outer and inner membranes. The matrix or the region where there are fluids inside the chloroplast are called stroma. Then the thylakoids are suspended in the stroma. A stack of thylakoids is called granum, and in the chloroplast there are many grana. The plural of granum is grana. Thylakoid membrane encloses the thylakoid space. There is a space. Okay, this is the membrane, phospholipid bilayer, and this is the lumen. The thylakoid membrane contains photosynthetic pigments, so the pigment would be embedded in the phospholipid bilayer. Okay, this is the outer layer of the chloroplast, inner membrane. The outer membrane, inner membrane. This is the thylakoid, a stack of granum, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 and more grana. So why are plants seen as green? Because they have chlorophylls, and chlorophyll is the pigment that absorb violet, blue and red light, so they absorb these colors, but then they reflect the green light. That's why we see the plant as green. So the effective colors to stimulate photosynthesis is blue and red light. Okay, blue and red light. What is the role of photosynthetic pigments? It is to absorb light energy in the name of photon. The light energy is called photon. So different photosynthetic pigments will absorb light of different wavelengths. So there are two types of photosynthetic pigments. We have the pigment P680 and P700. Both are chlorophyll A. So there are a few types of chlorophyll. The most common that we will find in plants are chlorophyll A. because chlorophyll A is the primary pigment, while the rest of the other chlorophyll is called as accessory pigments. Alright, even chlorophyll A has a few types. There are chlorophyll A that absorb light at There are chlorophyll A that absorb wavelength other than 680 and 700. Okay, P680 here means it absorbs light at wavelength 680 nanometer, while P700 means it absorbs light at wavelength 700 nanometer. So the rest of the chlorophyll A that absorb other than 680 and 700 nanometer will be the accessory pigments, because this is the most effective, that contains an effective amount of energy that will be effective for the photosynthesis. So other than that, the chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, and also carotenoids will be the accessory pigments, meaning that they will also absorb the energy, but then they will transfer the energy towards the primary pigments. Okay, we will see later where the primary pigments are located and where the accessory pigments will be located in the thylakoid membrane. So carotenoids include carotene. Carotene is usually orange colors, xanthophyll, phaeophytene. So each of these pigments has different colors. So this is a cluster of photosynthetic pigments that is embedded in the thylakoid membrane. Okay. The photosynthetic pigments are chlorophyll A, which has blue-green pigments. Students should memorize and memorize the color of each pigment. Chlorophyll A are associated with blue-green color because so it is called blue-green pigment. Chlorophyll B has olive green, which is a lighter green, hijau kuning, hijau kekuningan ataupun hijau muda. While carotenoids have a few types of pigments which absorb purple lights. Dia gabungan, dia punya gabungan dia tu dia absorb purple lights. Chlorophylls usually absorb blue and red lights. Okay, xanthophyll, yellow pigment, carotene, orange pigment, while phaeophytene, grey pigment. Okay, bila disebut pigment warna kuning, pigment warna orange, pigment warna kelabu, bukan bermaksud dia akan serap warna itu. Okay, maksud dia when we extract pigments from the plants, they will appear as this color. Carotene will be this color, orange pigment. Sebab tu carrot dia banyak carotene, warna dia almost orange, almost to red kan. Phaeophytene will be grey pigment. Phaeophytene ni kita dah jumpa kat mana phaeophytene? From the biodiversity topics, include phaeophytene can be found in the phaeophyta, the seaweed. Sebab tu phaeophyta tu warna dia greyish. So chromatography is a technique used to separate photosynthetic pigments. So when we separate the pigments, we can obtain these few colors that shows there are few pigments, different pigments in the plant's leaf. Okay, this is the orange, this is grey, this is a few kinds of green. Absorption spectrum. The absorption spectrum wavelength of light from 400 to 700 nanometers. So tadi kita belajar yang paling efektif adalah blue red kan. So dia akan absorb blue red. Okay. So blue ni paling tinggi kan? Ni. Red. Chlorophyll will absorb light in the blue and red region. Region here. Carotenoids will absorb light in the violet and blue-green region. Ini carotenoids. Violet and blue-green region. Sini. Nampak ni puncak dia kan? Ni purple lah kot. Purple sini lah sebab ni. Okay. This is a graph plotting rate of photosynthesis against wavelength of light. So efektif kat sini lah. Sebab rate of photosynthesis paling tinggi sini. This is a structure of chlorophyll. You don't have to memorize this structure, but you have to know that it consists of a porphyrin ring and hydrocarbon chain. This is hydrocarbon chain. So now the photosystem, the P680 and P700. P stands for photosystem. So this photosystem consists of a reaction center complex surrounded by several light harvesting complexes. So light harvesting ni yang kita panggil sebagai accessory pigments. Okay. Antenna pigment molecules. Okay, this is the reaction center chlorophyll, and then primary electron acceptor. So ni reaction center chlorophyll ni, yang reaction center ni. Okay, chlorophyll is organized with protein and smaller organic molecules into photosystem. So a photosystem acts like a light gathering antenna complex. So ni adalah photosystem yang terdiri daripada pusat tindak balas, reaction center, which is the chlorophyll, and these are all the antenna pigments, including the accessory pigments, including. So the antenna will absorb the photon and will channel the photon towards the reaction center. So something will happen to the reaction center lah. Okay, biasa dia akan involve electron transfer lah. Electron from the reaction center will be transferred to atau excited to the primary electron acceptor. Kenapa boleh excited? Sebab dah dapat tenaga yang cukup, enough energy to move the electron towards the primary electron acceptor. So we use the word excited. Excite. Reaction center is the chlorophyll, which is the primary electron acceptor, while the antenna pigments molecules are the accessory, or known as light harvesting complex, which involve other types of chlorophyll A other than P700 and P680 lah, including chlorophyll B and also carotenoids. So a photosystem consists of a reaction center, which is the chlorophyll, either chlorophyll P700, chlorophyll A P700 or chlorophyll A P680. And then we have the primary electron acceptor, a molecule that will accept electrons. And the second molecule, and the third molecule is the light harvesting complex, which is the accessory pigments molecules. So this is a photosystem. So we have the light harvesting complex, we have the reaction center with primary pigment. So there will be a primary pigment which is the chlorophyll A, either P680 or P700. While this is the primary electron acceptor. So electron will be excited from the P680 or P700 towards the primary electron acceptor. Accessory pigments will absorb photon, then the energy will be passed from one accessory pigment to the next until it reaches the reaction center. There are two types of photosystem, since we know that chlorophyll A ada yang P700, ada yang P680 kan. So there are two types of photosystem. Photosystem 1 is P700. Photosystem 2 consists of P680. Okay, the components are similar, the same for both, except for the chlorophyll A in the reaction center. Okay, thank you.